This is extra shiny.
If you're new to the channel, it's basically fish dude with a big stick that goes around smacking giant fishes. And yeah, my mic kind of crapped out, so meh. And the demo is ready. So second link in the description will go straight to the download site. Unfortunately, there's no Steam, but it took Wix, so not bad. First link was going to show you why I'm actually doing this, and because this is a series and journey trying to make it a show. Previously on Extra Human Devils, I am 2 weeks behind, but I revolutionized the level up. It's kinda jank, but it's there. I'm kinda scraping out the barrel for time at that point. Either I finish the system and link the tendril attacks to one of 4 quick select wheels, yeah boy, or I just set a timer to unlock it and hope you're fighting at that point, because I am not delaying it. The date is set. Actually, the date's already done, so So, catching up, I could just cut half the first cutscene out and have it, and use like 2 words, but I need to remake all the animations. So, no, not doing that. But I will cut some lines. And check the audio. I sped it up a bit, so it sounds like a girl, kind of, more like.
They're the big people that tell you what to do.
About an hour later, I budgeted 3 days for it, and bam, we're done. Budget smashed out of the water there, and it goes straight into the tank. So the next thing was loudness, and we discovered some things that I really want to fix with the characters, because
But priority, so that will be for the alpha hint. After an hour of working on the stress system again, the revolutionary version of the level up system, I found that I can just use a Raycraft hit distance that is built into the hit information, but it didn't change anything. So no matter what I chucked at it, it just sidestepped me and I fell straight on my face. I need to get the position of where the Raycraft is hitting is going straight to the center, ignoring it. It's very annoying. And worse, when I put the object in a different position, the distance to it changes. And I don't mean like the relative between them, but I move both of them to the exact same position at a different point in the world. The distance changes. Huh? You see, my world is about 4,000 years away from the world origin, so all of the values that are way out in the distance for space on the disk, it is rounding them to a certain value, which is screwing up precision. There's a floating point error and a floating origin error. They're very, very similar, but they're actually very different at the same time. One's like code and can be accounted for, and the other is this.
found it. When I moved it to the 0 point, bam, everything works perfectly.
Woohoo! But 1,000 years away is still too much. That's very interesting. Apparently, Zelda just moved the entire world around. Apparently. I don't think so, because it should be quite obvious when you're looking for it if it's actually doing it. But from some advice from the same source that I got that other information from, putting the player at the 0 point at the start of the game should fix everything. So I went, sure, I'll try it out. Did it, and bam, it worked. Very nice. So I can go however far away I want, well not really, but I can get to the limit of my world and not have a problem with the distance. And I forgot the visuals for this. I do need to limit the stress to something that's not 700. And for now, good night. I'm back. The max is now 80 with some simple division. It works most of the time. But Kickstarter wants a few days for the approval process, and at this point we were 4 days away from the launch, and I hadn't even started the pre-launch campaign. So it's time to go set up. I put the 3-week site that I made like 2 or 3 years ago. I just polished it up, finished it, and linked it to the Kickstarter with the demo. And they say they want 8 business days before launching. Oh well! Wait, there's a limit to how many emails YouTube gives you in a day? I mean, sure, it makes sense, but I'm not a bot. And because of time, I see... Now, where was I? And the next day, with more emails, I finished the images for the Kickstarter and finalized the reward tiers so I can send the Kickstarter off for a review, and immediately it was accepted.
Very nice. So I launched the pre-launch campaign with 3 days left, and then I did an Instagram story for all my friends see and share. Emailed YouTubers that I thought would like the reason behind this stream until like...
I mean, the emails were custom. So, next day I got a few more emails done and then did some gaming before run to the job on Saturday. Now, the stress system works, but the collider list is straight up wrong. So let's just give a little slappy slap to make sure it works, and I will slap back. Fine. After manual stuff, like making the 4 quick select wheels actually work with the number keys and hopefully the controller could. We got a whip! But when I make it input based by combining the melee and the pew pew spray ability, that was actually very coincidental in the logic. It gets halfway through the sweep and then stops and then just goes straight to the next one. Oh! I did some diggings and there wasn't a problem with the bow attack because that's connected to Reef's animation. So as the character goes, the bow will just follow. But that's not the same thing with the tendrils because it is an alembic animation, which that's a very big callback from previous episodes. Alembics are basically objects that have animation as a part of them. Or really it's an animation as an object. I'm changing the animation's time in the code, but the combo counter forces the logic to just shut off at that halfway point. So I based the combo count off of the time of the attack. And after about 45 minutes of finagling to get the timing right, it works! Now for the jitters. Oh, it crashed. Well, I guess that's it for the day. Hello, can you hear my shuffling? So for Sunday I was getting really distracted and I decided to just jam the animation in by directly playing it without any smoothing. So bad timing. It's fine. Then I fiddled around the rotations before looking up that Control Shift key will pause, but Control key plays and stops, so it's a little finagling. And after figuring that out, I was able to get to the rotation in like 10 seconds instead of just guessing where it should be. That's the stuff! Woohoo! Now for a voice line and the particle effect. Particle effect was very, very easy. I wish I could time-lapse some of this stuff, but when I found the list, it's still losing colliders. So I removed something, I don't remember, and Unity got stuck in a DLL loop, which means I just lost the last hour or so of work. Signing into plastic again because that's how you fix it, so it's version control, well, you know, Unity itself. I redid everything from that tendril rotation, and for some reason it took half an hour instead of 10 seconds to get working, but as long as it works. But the codes say, that's awesome, let's try this again. After tapping the list in a little check, it actually worked too well, and now there's an error for removing what wasn't there. Oh, never mind, it broke off. But I spotted a new thing. It's going null when multiple enemies are deleted at the same time. And because I'm only deleting one enemy at a time in the logic, it's getting a bunch of nulls. Because it's not removed from this, you see. So I use the current enemy number to loop through and remove it things after checking this thing. But with how I did it, everything was removed. So I just reordered it and the logic, and it worked. Eventually it started an error, but it still works. Sweet, I'm just gonna ignore it. I mean, it does what I want, so cool. And I'm taking a break. I love how walking on screen is like a whew. Now back to the tendrils. It needs collision so it can actually damage the enemies. That would be very helpful. But as a mesh collider, it hits and the log doesn't do anything, which is interesting. So let's try a box collider. Oh, it works, but it is too much of a range, so I can activate it when it has the right reach. Like, don't activate here, activate here, and then go through. Bam! So guess what? The demo is done! Woohoo! I wanna yell, but I wanna like not piss off everyone around me. Now to build it, and let's do a little tasty test. Oh, I was so wrong. It's not over yet. Begin the debugs. So, when I moved the world to fix the floating point, the floating origin error, the animation points didn't change with it. Gladly, I've only got one like that. The rest of the animation, the story, are dynamic. So, a few days after doing that, I realized I could have just started at the 0 point again and then keep the animation to where I need to, and then after it's finished, transition back. It's done now. But oh well. And this time, it built excellently, but there were a few minor bugs, so for the next hour and a half, I just built, splatted bugs, built, splatted more bugs. The enemy, what? And it's in the editor. It was just working. I have an hour before I need to go to bed because I start the job at 7 in the morning, and I need this video done. I might need to film it on my The date's confirmed and ready to go. This wasn't even a problem half an hour ago. The demo's done. It's just little bugs on the build. Okay. My first shot was to grab the working enemies from the old version, but it didn't actually work. Well, that narrows it down to a code problem, so I took out all the recent changes I just made from certain scripts, I think up to the tender rotation, and I cherry picked the recent one until I got back to it, and then I just got to figure out a way to solve the problem without causing the same error, without breaking it. And I didn't get a video reference for this, most of that stuff actually, because I was kind of prioritizing getting the demo done over making a video about it, so. Okay, this bug is only in the build. The tendril is unlocking too early. I mean, it's great that it works, but not yet. I tried just disabling the sphere collider that gets the enemy distance, but no effect. Aha! I have the tendril script off on start, but the object is on. and then the script just uses that. So what if I just turn the object off? Yeah, no effect. I don't know why. Let's try basing its activation on Begin's activation. Oh, it works! It works! It works! You can tell I was very excited when I got this. There is a voice line still to go, but that's not triggering anymore. Oh right, I took out the voice because I thought that was a part of why the enemies were being frozen. Okay, I'll use the same value that I used from the NPC to trigger the Colosseum cutscene. Okay, the final cutscene before the Begin's activation is looping. Alright, turns out I had a finish and a final function, and I was using the wrong one. So I named it weirdly and just confused myself. Now, the tendrils are staying off, and the Begin is triggering, and the cutscene still repeats. At this point, it was about to hit 1 AM, and I need to get up 5 hours and release in 6. Yeah, I'm not sleeping until this is done. I tried putting the cutscene under the neighbor, but it just turned itself off. I don't even know why. Okay, now the cutscene turns off when it finishes, but Reef is stuck upside down. I can move around, I can jump, he just stays upside down. Why? After a tweak, I actually managed to get him upright, but then as soon as I jump, he just gets pushed back down again. Break time. Eventually I just turned off the object that was telling Reef to rotate completely, and I made Slip Ray use the ground objects, so when you're fighting, you're not going to slip straight past the enemies. And I was encountering that problem a lot, so. And the enemies are flying. I really don't want to copy the same player logic that I had, because that would mean putting 60 new objects under every enemy, or in total. And I have 4.5 hours left. So I'll just pop the drag and test it again. Build 25. That's good. I mean, it's scuffed, but it's good. The tendrils aren't triggering again. I was afraid of that. First thing for this was I checked for bad object reference because of when the crash happened. I had to do those. And the list has a ton of empties. Aha! So what we did earlier for the list did work. If I don't touch the shark who's threatening to kill me, everything looks great. But as soon as I booped them a little too hard, the list goes nuts. And I caught one going empty anyway. Alright, nothing can die. They'll just float and flip upside down forever. Wait, the count thing only works when the enemies die. Turning them upside down completely is gonna work because they still exist. Oh, it's the connections! So, when the enemy is destroyed, it destroys all of the children objects that are the attacking things underneath it. And after another break, they're 3 hours in. And because I can't figure out the syntax for selecting specifically what I want to remove, and little tip for you, search like the logic, make sure that's working, then check the syntax, then check the system working fine. So just going, how I do this? It's not gonna give you a good answer. So I just took out all the enemies whenever one is deleted, and then repopulate the list based off of the distance calculation. It's gonna have to work for now. It's extremely unoptimized, but time, so I kinda need it. Oh, it worked! Let's go! It's nearly 4:30. Okay, final run through with the build 27. Remember to set the story active again. Okay, tendril still isn't activating. The enemy isn't dying properly. Okay, let's bring that back. And the first swarm set isn't dying. Huh? I didn't feel too tired at this point, but coming from what I'm doing, yeah, I was messing something up. So I basically just backtracked on that. Then it hit 5 o'clock, so I had 2 hours left, and the tendril is still bung. Say bye bye to the revolutionary level ups because I'm activating it on the end of the cutscene. That's gonna be a trick for the alpha. Now, it's done! It's very scuffed, stay still, but it's done. So, 5:45, time to upload, and get ready for work, and then launch it! Yes! Now I'm gonna fix all of those things properly for the alpha. But the Kickstarter is done. Let's go. Wait a second. Other Crab's treasure, there's Phonk, some caustics, a blur, and that's it. I even saw render distance problems and the fog cutting off. Am I worrying about the little things in this rendering stuff too much? I mean, the animations are new, but makes me wonder. Okay, bye bye. I need to edit, and then yeah, boy.